Hello everyone and welcome back to Poetry Surprises. Today I want to talk about the idea of the poetry book. And I want to do that because it was about 10 years ago that I started thinking not in terms of individual poems, but in terms of sequences of poems, which eventually led to thinking about poetry in terms of the book. Now, probably the reason why this happened is because I spent far too many hours worrying over single poems and eventually kind of, losing sight of them, I suppose, really, because you can very readily try and fit too much into one piece, one short poem. And it seemed to me that actually what I wanted to say was something much more dramatic, if you like. It was about a process or about a journey, and the journey had a beginning, and en route, as you're sort of walking through these poems, you come across things that change you and transform you. And I also wanted to try to arrive somewhere, but that's tricky. Anyway, this is certainly what happened with the concept for Rogue Seed, which was very consciously a journey. It started out as 52 poems. I wanted to create a journey and live through that journey whilst I was creating it, which was why I was out here in this magnificent place, but also pretty isolated in the process. Now that's fine. The only thing is, and this is the big shocker, especially if you're doing it honestly, authentically, is that you actually don't know where the journey's going to take you. And I thought this would be, Rogue Seed would be a kind of spiritual book, talking about self-knowledge. Well, perhaps, but it's not always the self-knowledge you want. So here's the first poem, for example, and it's looking at doing the washing. Dirty laundry. The washer-matic suds and spins on an outdoor dais in the commercial zone. Venus sinks behind a crowded Lidl. I load clothes with a whiff of DIY, sausages, new mown grass or wood smoke. Then slot in coins, press start. My life tumbles before me. Checkouts close, flicker into night. Shutters rattle down and towel lights bleed onto the bypass. And this is the thing, really. As soon as you know the outcome of your planned work, well, actually, you're in trouble, because in some ways you're predicting experience, and experience has to happen to you as much as you going and seeking it. So this is actually what happened, because this book, Rogue Seed, actually started out as a book called Notes from Nowhere. Ooh, very mystical, very sort of a mixture of Zen Buddhism and William Morris, I suppose, really, with his News from Nowhere. But eventually I realised that the type of discovery that I was undergoing in living here and working on these poems was much more radical, much more questioning, dangerous, and I think it had to be. The second poem we're going to look at actually deals with a confrontation with multiple selves. Like the first poem, it references a supermarket, which is a strange coincidence, I suppose. This sort of starts off at the fish counter, and well, yeah. A slippery customer. Oh, maybe that's what I'll change. Maybe change the name to a slippery customer. I quite like that. But
Who are you? It went swimmingly until I bumped into me at the fish counter. It was like getting hit by a tsunami. You see, I didn't know I'm so many people, each in his skin, keen to keep the others unawares. That meeting over the haddocks rocked all me's on our moorings, and eyes started to up anchor, drift. Some remained afloat, others wanted to drown. Synchronizing my team was more sink than swim. Floundering around at the deep end, I tried to save one or two of me. There's something to be said for a lover and a DIYer, an earner and a poet. But a man as repeatable as lies? That's a different kettle of slippery fish.